555 Jacksonville.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson. The Jacksonville Jaguars select Trayvon Walker, linebacker, Georgia. With the 7th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Josh Allen, defensive end, Kentucky.
You try to find the best players. That's what you try to do in the draft. We have some needs, obviously, that we need to address. The board's got to fall the right way. Needs are paramount. But we're going to stick with our formula and draft the best players available.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
Hey, let's be fair. I'm not going to fault him for what the formula produced in round 1 last year, Tony. Okay. Beyond that, there's a lot of fault to be found there. Dylan Denmark traumatizing Duval this morning.
Yeah, deep breath, everybody.
I miss him every day.
Oh, what is Trent Baalke doing right now? Just counting his money, sitting back.
He doesn't seem like a golfer.
I don't know. I don't know if I have no idea what Trent Baalke does
not
for fun.
Getting ready for a draft.
No.
That's all I could tell you that he's not doing.
I wonder, is he retired? Is he kicking back? I don't know, man. Must be nice to have options like that. But Dylan taking us back to some positive draft picks. I think we look, Trayvon over Hutchinson, fine, but Trayvon's a good player, right? Is it? I guess I'm getting conditioned now, Tony. I heard Josh Allen. It sounded wrong, right? Where's the Hines, right? I guess I'm finally getting to the point now.
Formerly known as. Yeah.
Exactly, right? We've just added a Hines in there. So good morning. How are you?
Doing well.
It's always the Jags for Tony Smith. Tony's got all his Jaguar gear lately, repping here on Jaguars Today. Dylan Denmark, good morning. How are you?
All good, man. Waiting for, I thought Mason Graham was the lock. And I don't know now.
Apparently not.
50-50.
So Dylan is locked in on the gambling markets.
You know what? The gambling markets
tell you something.
Are pretty smart people, right? That put those things together because, as I always say, it takes a real dummy to go bankrupt if you, own a sports book or something like that. So, Dylan, what are the betting markets saying about the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft?
All right, so yesterday on our friends via the Hard Rock Sportsbook, Thursday, Genty was plus 700 to be the 5th overall pick. Not to go to the Jaguars, but be the 5th overall pick.
Plus 700. So you could bet 100, win 700.
Correct.
Okay.
Yesterday, he was a favorite at plus 135. Mason Graham was plus 155. If you look right now at 10 a.m. this morning, you can't bet it. It's off the board right now.
It's funny because I went on... It was a fantasy show, right? But it was a podcast, and we had to talk about different props we like for the draft. And so in preparing to go on yesterday, I put together some things on Friday, and one of them was that prop, Genty to go 5th. And at the time, it was plus 350. So now he's the favorite now to go 5th. Is that correct?
Yep. Not just Hard Rock, but all the other sports books that I've seen. Just been browsing. I'm like, okay.
Have we played into this at all, Tony? You know what I mean? Nobody. I don't think the Jags are leaking anything.
No, I don't think
regard.
I don't think the Jags are putting anything out there. I think the whole world can see what everyone should have been able to see 2 months ago.
Maybe.
What else are you supposed to do? If you're picking in the top 5 in this draft,
take the best player.
Take the best player available, which is likely to be Ashton Genty. I don't know why it hasn't been more of a talking point with New England. I really don't.
Well, Chad Ryder, give him credit because a couple weeks ago he brought that up, and he put that in his mock last week.
Absolutely. But I'm with you. I don't think anyone's hearing anything from here because they can't. No one's
Jacksonville.
talking. Yeah, no one's talking inside the building that actually knows how they feel about any of this kind of stuff. But everyone can see it. It's a draft that may have 3 premier players in it. And the 3rd premier player is going to be Ashton Genty of the 3 that are going to go off the board, at least the way everyone's assuming it's going to go right now. So what teams are going to be having shots at taking him? What is the slot where that's going to happen? In a draft where there just aren't a bunch of premier players, It's the Prisco thing. When we talked to him last Thursday, and he was like, I don't know what else they should do. Right? Like, what else should they do?
And to be fair, Prisco, it says, according to him, and I believe, I'm just quoting him, basically. I'm not trying to set him up or anything, saying that the more film he's watched, the less he likes Mason Graham.
Yeah.
The more he's dug into the film. He doesn't think he's worth that spot, or he doesn't think he'd be the best option. Not that he's saying he's a bad player.
And even when he left, he was done. Yeah, I'm down to Genty or Graham. Even after saying that, it's down to Genty or Graham, I would go Genty.
Yeah.
You know, that's essentially where Prisco landed.
I think he's just saying he's not this surefire, take him at 5 and don't even think about it kind of guy. There are other guys in the conversation. Here is what Tony Pauline said in a column this morning. First, that there's a lot of buzz about the Patriots potentially going with an edge rusher, and Jalen Walker could be the apple of their eye with the 4th pick. Now, which there are some people who would prefer him for the Jaguars at 5, and that's fine, or after a small trade back. But he says that they are in on edge rusher, at least he's hearing that a lot now. And then he said the other surprise in the first handful of picks is Ashton Genty being selected by the Jaguars with the 5th selection, something that seems like a distinct possibility at this point. Pauline continues, I heard the rumor last week as well, but I felt it was a little absurd and dismissed it. Did he hear it when he came on with it? You know what I mean? Because we brought it up, and we said, why not Genty? Now, I'm not sitting here telling you the Jags have any interest in Genty. I don't know what their board looks like, right? But he said then, continuing on, there are several reasons Jacksonville is said to be considering Genty with the selection, including that no other player available at 5 possesses the elite skills and traits that he does. In other words, he's the best player available.
Yeah.
I would agree, says Pauline, as Genty is the 3rd overall player on my board. They also believe Genty is the missing piece to their offense. Along with Tyler Warren, Genty is viewed as the safest player at the top of the draft, and a new regime does not want to miss out on an early pick in their first draft. Many include Mason Graham in that group as well. So, just being fair across the board. Now, when he says that they also believe Genty is the missing piece of their offense, I don't think the Jags are saying, hey, we think he's the missing piece of the offense. I think people are saying, well, you've got your quarterback, you've got your number 1 wide receiver. Now you've got your running back. You've improved your offensive line, you hope. Still work to do. More pass catchers need to be added to this football team. Probably more offensive linemen as well. But that's kind of where we are right now, Tone, that people are at least being conditioned to believe. Now here's the tricky thing. If this is really like, man, this is working to our benefit, because then people realize they got to come up to 5 if they want to get Genty. Well, no, they're going to realize they need to get up to 4.
Yeah.
To get Genty. If you really want Genty, it's always funny to me, like this idea that, well, this team wants to draft so-and-so, so let's trade for their pick and take that guy. And we're coming for that guy. So how much could they really want to draft that guy if they're willing to give up that pick knowing they're not going to get him anymore? I think it's more, to me, it has always been, it's a case that it seems like the Raiders are locked in on him. I read somewhere this morning that that's not the case. Nobody really knows.
You don't know. Yeah.
Pete Carroll, it does make sense with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's like getting up close to 80 years old now. He didn't have 10 years to build the program out. He wants to win immediately. How do you win immediately? Well, shouldn't everybody want to win immediately? It's a balance between winning immediately and sustaining that success over a period of time. And if you got Ashton Genty, let's say, for the next 5 or 6 years, and who knows, maybe you sign him to an extension. Who knows what the cap looks like 5 years from now?
No telling.
$300-something million. Yeah. But he has become the buzz-worthy guy in Jacksonville. Whether it's false buzz, we don't know. Right? No. I am not telling you. I went on in Buffalo this morning, and they're like, really, Genty? They're like, what would you do at 5 to help Trevor Lawrence? Why wouldn't you go defense? And I went through all the reasons that we've discussed. And I said, I want to be very clear. I'm not predicting the Jags take Genty. I have no idea what the Jags are going to do. I'm within reason. I don't think they're going to reach for a guy we've all been seeing projected in the 20s at this point.
Probably not.
I'd be surprised at that. Although Prisco, by the way, did his mock today on what teams should do, and he did put Genty to the Jags, and we'll get into that a little bit. Then he had Maxwell Hairston to the Raiders with the next pick, who's often projected to go early second round.
Yeah.
Pete loves him some Hairston, the Kentucky cornerback.
Yeah.
And that, Pete's just sticking to his guns on the guys that he likes at the top. By the way, he had Mason Graham going to the Jets in this scenario. So it wasn't like he's saying Mason Graham is complete trash and he's not worth a top 10 pick. He just thinks Genty's a better player.
Yeah. Like, it's pretty easy in my mind right now what I would do at 5. If Genty's there, that's the pick.
Yeah.
If I could trade out of it, I would.
I would too.
Right? But I don't think they're going to be able to. Like,
especially if I could trade out with Chicago and get 10 and 41, and if I have to give up a late pick or two, you know, 6th round or 7th round or whatever going back.
Absolutely. I don't expect that's going to be the way it works out. I think they're going to be picking at 5.
I think there's a chance, though, Tone.
I'm not saying there's no chance. It's just not. It's Genty's the only path for that to happen.
I agree with that, right? Like now, because even now, the betting odds were that Shedeur Sanders would go to New Orleans. Now they've switched, and it's Michael Williams who's now the favorite to go to the Saints at pick 9.
But I do look at it and say, we're having the conversations about Genty every day right now.
Yes.
And I think in all these rooms and across the league, they're having similar conversations. And I don't think it's hard if you get to that point, right? The Jaguars are on the clock at 5. Genty didn't go 4, so he's available. And the Bears call and they make some offer. As I said weeks ago, I think you're going to have to take less than you would typically take on the value of trading that pick. I think you have to sell it at a discount to get it traded this year. I do. And I think that is still in play, even with Genty on the clock, because of how many running backs are in this draft. If Chicago is circling running back as the thing that we have to address in this draft, it's like, well, we can do it in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. They can do it whenever else they want to do it in the draft. So I think
there's a reason this guy is seen as a cut above all the rest of them.
I get it. But because it's a running back, I don't think they're going to be able. I don't think Chicago would be willing to pay the price that you would typically pay to go from 10 to 5 in this draft. So I think the Jaguars would have to be willing to sell it at some kind of discount. I don't know how big of a discount that would be. I think in the end, they likely don't get that worked out, and they pick at 5. And I think it would be Genty if he's available, and it would be Mason Graham if he's not. Like, that's where it's at in my head at this point for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Am I right? I have no idea. I won't know until Thursday. And even then, I won't know. I'll know what they did, but I won't know if the thinking was in line with what I think about it at this point in time. That's the kind of the fun of the draft. You just don't know. And even after it's over, you can kind of try to match things together and be like, this is where I was right or this is where I was wrong. But you don't even know that. You don't have enough information to even react to it that way. It's just, you're blind reacting to all this. They have all the information. I hope they do a good job with it.
Based on the old chart, the one that for years we went by, right? The Jimmy Johnson chart that he came up with. And for all we know, you know, the Jags have their own internal mechanism for gauging value, but this is what everyone's always used as a measuring stick. You need to make up 350 points to go from 10 to 5, okay? The 41st pick is worth 490. So you'd have to be given something on the back end. 350 is equivalent to the 55th pick, which the Bears don't own. So let's say they gave up 41. And keep in mind, the Bears have 2 second-rounders, right? Because one of them belongs to Carolina. One of them is their own. So they give up pick 41. So then you got to make up 140 points on the back end. 140 points, let me see, is equivalent to... man, where's 100? Is that right? Am I looking at this right? Yeah, 140 points is like that's a pretty choice pick right there on this thing. It's like pick 88 is 150.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm looking at another chart and its 90th pick is 140.
Okay, I'll tell you this. I'm looking at the same exact chart as you there because 90th pick is 140. I'm trying to get to the closest pick that we have. I don't know if I'm giving up 5 and 88 necessarily in that deal. That feels like a bit of an overpay on the Jags end or not getting enough, but that's what the chart says. So who knows?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think it's most likely that they're picking at 5. And then the odds makers say if that's the case, that
and it's looking at it that way. It's if you're Chicago and it should be 5 and 88 and the Jaguars say we're not giving 88, then they just say, then no.
Yeah, and that's fine too.
Right.
You know, and maybe they will, or maybe they really covet Ashton Genty. You know, you think about it. Jahmyr Gibbs, you could say, oh, he could have got another running back. He's a pretty special running back, what he's turned out to be, right? And that's the guy they drafted in Detroit when Ben Johnson was running the offense. So, I mean, there's a reason Genty is considered the class of the class, so to speak. All right, today's question of the day, presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate, is the Tuesday top 5 for Jaguars Today. It's finally draft week, so here you have it, folks. Let's see, what do we have? Who are the top 5 players you want the Jaguars to select in any round of the 2025 NFL Draft? It could be 5 guys you like at 5. Mm-hmm. It could be 5 wide receivers. You hope they get one of them, right? It's 5 guys you're interested in. It could be 5 guys that, hey, if it falls right, they could get all 5 of them. You can do it any way you want. Just give us 5 names that you're most interested in ending up on the Jacksonville Jaguars roster by the end of Saturday. Coming up with the 2025 NFL Draft. If you want to be part of the program, many ways to do it. 641-1010 on the phone lines or the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio chat and post away there or on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
He's going to bring us at least 3 championships.
Hey, what have we sent the bat signal out?
I was about to.
Are you? Okay.
What time should we hit
I'm just saying, I mean, we're pretty booked up rest of the week. So
today's the only day.
We get Holiday in pre-draft. It's probably going to have to be today, right? Yep. So you tell me whatever works for him, man, if you're able to establish a connection.
Send out the bat signal when we go to break.
All right, send out the bat signal. Let's get to work here. It's Tuesday Top 5. Top 5 players you want to see end up with the Jacksonville Jaguars by the end of the draft. Draft picks, that is, not through trade. And off we go. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. You're listening to Jaguars Today, 2 days out from the NFL Draft on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Because you love the game. Good! And so do we. 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging? Spring is here, a time to renew. I'm Dr. Mark Capel, a board-certified dermatologist, here to help you look and feel your best with minimal to no downtime. Rejuvenate your skin, strengthen your core, and sculpt your body with advanced face and body treatments designed to restore your youthful glow and confidence. Just in time for spring and summer. A healthier, more fit you starts now. Visit dermagnify.com and step into spring looking and feeling your best.
For the greenest, lushest lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
All right, gentlemen, we've trained for this. We've battled the elements. But if there's one thing we can't afford, it's letting the heat take us out before the big game.
But, Coach, the AC at my house is busted. I barely got any sleep last night.
Well, Johnson, you should have called Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. They're the real MVPs. Now let's cue the cool music.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Cool Cats. The coolest cats in town.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatersparking.com and book your space today.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE Neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Mia here. You know, people typically start and end their day by visiting their closet. So shouldn't that space feel calm, organized, like a little moment of luxury? That's why I chose Closets by Design. They specialize in custom solutions for every lifestyle and budget. Call them this week to schedule your free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus another 15% off and free installation. Don't wait for mom to do it. Call now at 1-800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Everyone seems to be in a time crunch these days. Well, don't forget you can always count on the cold case at Daly's. Always convenient, always cold. Whether it's the king of beers, Natty Light, Stella, or Cigar City, or Goose Island or Bud Light Seltzer, dash into Daly's and grab one to go.
Jacksonville, you know a good defense wins games, and a good fence protects your home. Frank Frangie here. Coil Fencing has been around the block since 1927. Literally, they probably fenced it too. From tough chain link to sleek aluminum fences your HOA will love, Coil is the name to trust. Nearly a century strong and still standing tall. Call Coil today. You can trust them. Call 904-356-4821 or visit coiljacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
The team at Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to book your next round of golf with us. At Hidden Hills, we love the game, and we'll provide you with a memorable golf experience at one of the most unique golf courses in North Florida. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
So, Tone, I heard the guys talking about it this morning, so I thought I'd give it a gander over at CBS Sports. And, boy, I look, there's something to be said for not following just where everyone's going, right? And having your own opinions and everything. But Chris Trapasso is seemingly out on an island by himself here with some of this NFL draft evaluation that he's put out. His final big board, Tony, top 100 prospects. Number 1, James Pierce Jr., edge rusher, Tennessee. Wow. He's got Luther Burden at 6, ahead of Ted McMillan. He's got Josh Simmons in at 9. By the way, Prisco loves Simmons as well. A few other. Jack Besh, the TCU wide receiver, number 12. Siobhan Ravel, the East Carolina corner, at 11. I mean, we're just not used to seeing these names in these spots.
Yeah.
He's got Ariante Ursary, the Minnesota offensive lineman, at 14. Don't see him mocked too often in the first round. He's got Milroe ahead of most of the quarterbacks on here. I think all the quarterbacks except for Cam Ward, which, you know, that's, hey, he's entitled to his opinion. He's got, by the way, Genty at 18 overall. So one spot behind Hairston, who, again, Prisco absolutely loves that guy. But some interest. Teddy Buchanan, who I saw somebody give the Jags in a mock in like the 5th or 6th round the other day, he's got ranked 29th overall. So I guess that mock would have been good for us. But anyway, you know, I mean, look, he's probably watched more film on these guys than I have, but he's certainly bucking the consensus trends with a lot of these names.
Well, and it's every year we get to the draft and there's going to be a handful of players and picks that we go, what? Why?
Yeah.
How? And it's, well, because some team feels similar to Trapasso about how they evaluate these guys. And in a year where it's so wide open, after the top handful of players, it's so wide open, then yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens. So we're like, I thought you could get that in the third round. Right. They're going in the first. Like, I'm expecting that to happen 4 or 5 times this year.
Yeah, but then again, there are those occasions where, like, when the Jags got Josh Allen, now Josh Hines Allen, and Cleveland Ferrell went to the Raiders at the time, nobody had him ranked ahead. And sometimes that consensus ranking is like, okay, you're allowed to have the courage of your convictions, man, but you understand that you're bucking the trend.
Absolutely.
And hardly anyone in the league is going to value your guy more than several guys that went after him. So, and that's played out. I mean, Ferrell's been a non-entity, basically, in the National Football League. I mean, you know, as far as relative to his peers out there. Just quickly going through the top of what Prisco had for teams, what they should do here. Travis Hunter should go to the Titans, according to Pete. Abdul Carter should go next, and Cam Ward third. So he's saying basically 2 guys that are blue chip. I'm not taking a middle of the pack quarterback over these guys. After that, the quarterback, I think the need for a quarterback trumps what Pete feels the rest of the field is. He doesn't feel the rest of these guys are as special. Josh Simmons, the Ohio State offensive lineman, who, again, Pete thinks, you know, without injury, he'd be the top lineman in this draft, maybe. And then Gentry to the Jags, Maxwell Hairston, as we mentioned, and Mason Graham to the Jets, Jalen Walker, Michael Williams, Colston Loveland. Those picks are not really out of the ordinary. I feel like, you know, the fact that he put Gentry to the Jags, and Pete is just a don't draft a running back early kind of guy, stands out. And the Simmons pick to the Patriots and the Hairston pick to the Raiders. You know, but Pete's always had the courage of his convictions to go out there. I wonder if this is similar to how his big board, if he has one, would end up looking. By the way, he had James Pierce going 22nd. That's Trapasso's number 1 player, his cohort over there at CBS. Today, we're going to get into our top 5 wish list for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we'll count ours down coming up in a minute. You can send us yours primarily on social media or the text line if you'd like. Just look for your top 5 names that you'd like to hear called by the Jags. Could be in any round. Could be a 7th round sleeper for you. I saw Cristiano put Luke Lachey. We get him in the 7th round. Who knows? Maybe he goes in the 5th round. I don't know. But if you're not going to get the perfect tight end for this system and you want another pass-catching weapon, there are guys late. That, as a for instance, I'm sure he would prefer to have Tyler Warren. I just don't think he'd want to spend the pick necessary to get Tyler Warren as opposed to Luke Lachey. So you can approach it any way you like it as far as that goes. And we'll unveil our top 5s when we return in a moment. You're listening to Jaguars Today, 2 days out from the 2025 NFL Draft on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Now, Studio Talk with Dan and Jeff.
I'm crying like a little girl. I wasn't crying like a little girl.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
It's not like that. What are you talking? It's not like that.
Really? Mornings.
How? What do you mean how?
1010XL 92.5 FM.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, I've seen ads for diamonds where you see the words all diamonds certified by IGI, EGL, or GIA. Just what does all that mean?
Frank, it's confusing because those letters represent various diamond grading laboratories. However, it's important to point out that labs don't certify anything. They issue diamond grading reports. The only entity that can certify the diamond is the seller. There's one exception to that, and that's members of the American Gem Society have the ability to certify diamonds through their partnership with the American Gem Society Laboratory. That's because it's the only partnership in the world where an organization devoted to consumer protection through gemological education and ethics has a laboratory built on the exact same principles. We have these certificates at Underwoods, but more importantly, we have American Gem Society certified gemologists that look at all of these diamonds and put our grade and our certification of the diamond's quality on it. And believe me, that's important.
It's heating up at Ride Now Jacksonville. Get water adventure ready with the 2024 Yamaha AR195 boat. With its supercharged engine, innovative design, and water sports features, the Yamaha AR195 is ready for anything you throw at it. Originally $46,000, now just $36,000. Oversized in-floor storage for wakeboards and extra gear, deck and hull design that maximizes space, comfort, and versatility like no other 19-foot boat. Ride Now Jacksonville on Blanding Boulevard. We'll meet or beat any price on all 2024 and prior models.
If your IT, data security, and your office copiers are operating perfectly, you must have hired ABS, Advanced Business Solutions, as your technology partner.
Advanced Business Solutions. If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Plumbing problem? AC not blowing cool? Septic tank backing up? No need to call 3 different companies. Just call Duck Rooter. At Duck Rooter, we do it all. Plumbing, septic, and air conditioning with expert technicians in each department. One company, one call, one easy bill. No hassle, no runaround, just fast professional service from highly skilled techs who know their stuff. Need help? Call 904-862-6769 today and let Duck Rooter handle it all. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren here from Helmets and Heels. When it's time for new tires, look no further than Big Chief Tire. Their experts will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe and comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with even greater confidence guaranteed. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Corona Premier, a light beer with just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. The premier side of light. For those that are active and on the go, pick some up the next time you're heading out to enjoy the day under the sun. Corona Premier, an unexpectedly light beer.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home this week at the newly renovated Five-Star Ballpark. The Jumbo Shrimp take on the AAA Atlanta Braves. Tomorrow is our first Wear It Home Wednesday. Free t-shirts to the first 500 fans. Courtesy of Renewal by Anderson and Better Health. Baseball all weekend. Tickets start at just $5. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable family fun.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Tuesday Top 5 is your Jaguars Today question of the day, presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Love for you to participate. I mean, because we're down to it, Tone. Tomorrow, there's no question. Tomorrow's a media mock draft. Dylan is confirmed with 15 out of our 16. So, what'll happen if somebody doesn't answer the phone, Dylan? Will you step
I'm going
in?
to just run down the hall, try to get a man's voice that is not primarily on the air.
Oh.
And
why a man?
Or a woman.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, if we are, have a man that's supposed to be on.
I see.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
To replace the man who was supposed to be on, and then we would just, lie and tell people that's who it was?
Radio is theater of the mind.
Oh, bro, who taught you that?
We've never done that.
Who taught you that?
Years ago.
Yeah, yes. There were a few picks made under assumed names back in the day. We had standby guys. That's when we did 32 picks in 3 hours, Tone. Yeah. That was quite an ordeal and an undertaking. And it was like, if you don't answer your phone on time, we are screwed. And we would always have somebody standing by to step in. And I remember once Dominator, who used to be David Lamb, Joe Coward's producer, offered his uncle, who would be sitting on the porch waiting for our call if we needed any help with the New York Giants, for instance.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Dom's uncle on the line, ladies and gentlemen. What are we going to do here? More pass rush for the Giants. I don't know. But that will go off flawlessly tomorrow. And then I think we have we finalized the guest list for Thursday? Are we good?
Yes, we got everybody.
Frangie batting leadoff.
Yep.
Right? Then we're going to have Ship and Demetrius in our second segment.
Yep.
Going to have D-Rock and Jamal St. Cyr in basically this time on Thursday.
Correct.
Then at the top of the hour, Hayes Carline is going to join us, the Hammer. Tony Pauline will follow with his last bit of draft nuggets. And then we'll wrap it up with our own final thoughts on what the Jags are going to do. And I hope everybody's preparing Friday to tell us how brilliant they think James Gladstone and company are, or how absolutely ridiculous they are for passing up so-and-so to select so-and-so, whomever that may be. So today, tell us who your favorite so-and-sos are, who's on your wish list, not just for 5. Doesn't even have to be a player for 5 if you don't want it. So you ready to begin the countdown, Tony?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Number 5.
What you got? Who is number 5 on Tony's Jaguar draft wish list?
Number 5 for me is nose tackle Alfred Collins out of Texas. He's the nose tackle that I've had in view for a couple of months. If he's going to be there at the beginning of the 3rd round, the Jaguars' first pick in that kind of range, then it would be easy for me to make him the selection, even if they do go Mason Graham at 5. Obviously, that would have no impact on them adding a straight nose later on in the draft. And Alfred Collins is the one that I've had highlighted in my mind now for a while, and putting this list together, he comes in at 5.
I have 8 guys in my 5. As I told you, the way I did it, I have 5 different positions with a specific player and an alternative to a few of them. But with apologies to Lathan Ransom, who is just on the outside looking in, number 5 for me is Kyle Kennard, the edge rusher out of South Carolina. Did it in the SEC. His body type profiles as a guy who could be that 3rd sub-package edge rusher. All the projections have him going kind of late 3rd. Maybe you get him at 107. Maybe you get him at 88. I'm not sure. Here's what PFF said. They rank him 81st overall, by the way. Good understanding of how to win as a pass rusher in varying situations in both odd and even fronts. Lean and long, which is a plus for arm length, but a negative when holding up versus the run. That's okay when I'm getting him in the 3rd round as a primary. Think Yannick Ngakoue. You got him in the 3rd round. Never was great against the run. A great 3rd round pick at the time. Handwork and footwork show a great baseline to build a successful pass rush profile in the league as a day 2 selection. Give me Kyle Kennard, number 5 on my list. Dylan Denmark.
I'll go offensive tackle Josh Connerly Jr. The offensive tackle is young, can become a good starter, moves easily in space, but has anchor trouble against power. So they said he can play some guard, but I prefer him to play tackle.
Where do you got to get him?
Early 2nd round.
Okay, that's what I figured. You're hoping he's there at 36.
Yes.
For you. All right. Continuing on. What's next?
Number 4.
All right, number 4 for me here, Tone. Let me make sure everything comes up here properly. For me is Kenneth Grant. PFF's number 21 ranked player. This is likely more a late trade into the 1st round target, but boy, if he fell to 36, I'd be doing backflips. PFF says brings a rare combination of quickness and size to the nose tackle position with the strength to dominate single blocks and hold up against doubles. When he's in attack mode, he's an imposing player. I wish we saw the aggressive mindset more consistently. My pivot from that is your guy at 5, Alfred Collins, who I've got there as well, who they rank 74th overall, who I agree with you is probably more of a third-round target. I would prefer Kenneth Grant, though. I would settle for Alfred Collins. Kenneth Grant is officially number 4 on my list. Who you got at 4, Dylan?
I will go R.J. Harvey. It don't matter what the running back is.
A man just wants
somewhere in the middle. Just not Cam Scatterboo or ETN. One of those.
Why
two
not
guys.
Cam Scatterboo?
I just think he's a goal line kind of guy. I don't think he's going to be like a home run hitter. Like, I want a guy that can be a home run hitter, that can take one anytime to 60, 70 yards. I don't think Scatterboo's that kind of guy. R.J. Harvey's more of a blue-collar back. He adds yards after contact, ran a 4.40. I picked him, but I know you're probably going to go with Dylan Sampson later, so I went with R.J. Harvey.
All right. You don't know what I'm
it
going
really
with.
Doesn't matter.
Shut your mouth. All right. You have no idea what I'm doing.
Number 4 for me, after Alfred Collins at 5, number 4, center Jared Wilson out of Georgia. I expect that the Jags would have to pick him at 36 to get him with one of the picks that they currently hold. I don't expect him to be there at the beginning of the 3rd round, but I do think they have enough draft ammunition that if he was still there late in the 2nd round and they wanted to make a small move back into the 2nd round to go get Wilson, I think that could be in play for the football team. They have the flexibility with the amount of picks that they have to do something like that, not only at the end of the 1st round, but in the 2nd, 3rd rounds as well. They can make those kind of moves if there is a player that they want to land. Jared Wilson would be obviously very high on that list for me.
All right, we move on.
Number 3.
Denmark.
I'll go Jack Sawyer, edge. Ohio State game is built on power, not speed. Can play the interior with his short arms. I will say, like, the little bit that I watched Ohio State this year, it seemed like he was always making plays for them, and you could see it more than ever that last game, or not the last game, one of his last games he had when they played Texas. Game was on the line. Texas had the ball at the 20-yard line. Strip sack, fumble, picks it up, and returns to 80 yards the other way. I think this dude can play in the NFL somewhere.
All right. If we go by Pro Football Network, we'll get him in the 5th round, right? Which we won't. But, all right, Jack Sawyer. Tony, who you got?
Number 3 for me, defensive tackle Mason Graham out of Michigan. There are times when the conversation about him has come close to getting me off him at 5. And then I hear Chad Ryder talk about him yesterday. I read what Daniel Jeremiah wrote about him as his 4th highest graded player in the draft, and I'm right back in. Specifically, we talked about McShay, yesterday listing the guys that are kind of Jaguars type guys. And when he didn't have Mason on the list, I was like, why not? Mm-hmm. Right. And then the end of Jeremiah's write-up when he put out his last top 150 that he put out yesterday, his effort is outstanding. Overall, it's easy to identify Graham as a former wrestler. He always has a full tank of gas, and he sets the tone for the entire defense. He also talked about him being powerful, leverage and instincts, always good leverage, attacks blockers. The conversation has become about him being safe at 5, but I think that's because, again, I don't think there's a bunch of premier players in this draft.
Yeah. But
you don't find him outside of 4 or 5 on most of these lists because I do think he's a solid player. I think ESPN's a little off their rocker. Like it keeps going by with all their draft coverage and they'll have team needs listed and they have defensive tackle listed as the top need. I don't agree with that. And maybe some people have that in their head, and that's why Graham has been so locked in to the Jaguars there at 5 throughout the draft process. But I do think there is something to – there's a reason Genty's being attached to it now, and I think it's similar to the reasons why Graham has been attached to the Jaguars as long as he has. I think he's that level of player just below the premier guys in this draft. Those guys aren't going to be available to him. In all likelihood, was the assumption that was being made. And if they're not, Graham would still be someone I'd be happy for them to land.
And that's the whole thing about the needs, right? Like, how does the Jags see it? Do they say, hey, we've got Armstead moving back inside. We've got Mason Smith, who's a nice developing player. We have Hamilton. We've got Jefferson. We've got some options. Or we can, spend a mid-round pick here. But they were terrible against the run last year. There's no denying it. They didn't get pressure from the middle. So, is it a need? There are names, there are bodies, but those bodies didn't perform at a high level last year. It'll be fascinating to see how they discuss that once the draft is gone. So that was number 3 for you. What are we on? Number 2 now?
Number 2.
Yeah, there we go. I think you're batting lead off, Tone.
Number 2 for me is...
Wait, I didn't give you 3,
yeah.
right? My bad.
Number 3.
Number 3. Thank you. I know. I'm losing my mind here. I got Emeka Egbuka at number 3. Mm-hmm. Okay. And PFF says there seems to be some draft fatigue with him. He's been talked about as an NFL prospect for 3 years. Don't fall for it. High floor, versatile, savvy receiver, borderline wide receiver 1/2. 2. So, look, we got our 1. If he's a solid 2, I'm fine with that. This is pick 36, right? This is where you're hoping he falls, or maybe, again, that small move up into the late first round to get him. I like him a little bit more than Luther Burden simply because he's been more consistent than Luther Burden in his time in college. And my pivot from that would be a very similar level of interest, but not in the same range as Jack Besh. I think they'd both be very nice complementary pieces next to Brian Thomas Jr. I would prefer Egbuka. He's officially the number 3 guy on my list.
Number 2.
There it is.
Now it's me.
Now we got
running back Ashton Genty. There isn't a better player that could realistically be available to the Jags at 5. And assuming that's the way this is going to play out, Carter and Hunter are gone, then Genty will be the player that I would pick. And honestly, I'd be able to make that pick pretty easily if that's the situation they actually wind up in on Thursday night.
I got Genty at 2 as well. Described as a total package, backfield playmaker, impressive balance, footwork. We know all about Ashton Genty. All right, and look, I'm also not going to be like, oh, man. It's not going to devastate me if they don't take him. And Dylan Sampson is kind of like representative of the running back I would target in the middle rounds because he does have that breakaway ability. I think he's just big enough. He may not be a 20 carry a game guy, but as the front end of a potential committee in the backfield, I'm fine with that. Genty would be much preferred. I've got him at number 3. Sampson, by the way, PFF ranks as the number 55 overall player, but you continue to see him mocked into the 4th round. And that's what I'm like. If you could get him at like 107, if I knew I could get Dylan Sampson at 107, I might just go the Mason Graham route at 5. That's the problem. You don't know exactly who's going to be available. Dylan, who do you have at 2?
Deion Walker, the tackle out of Clemson.
Kentucky. Yeah.
He had a better 2023 than 2024. Apparently he had some conditioning issues last year, which I don't like, but that's value you can get D tackle. Projected to go late 3rd. Hopefully he can fall to 4th round. That would be, I think, a good pick for the Jags if he can fall to the 4th round.
All right, why don't we fire up the old 10-10 take?
10-10 take. Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
And
number 1
continues. Number 1 is the guy Tony had in the middle of his list right there, and he's been my guy all along, Jared Wilson, the center out of Georgia. Why do I prefer him to Genty? Because if I don't get Genty, I go Dylan Sampson. I'd be happy with Scatterbo. I'd be happy with a number of running back options. That's why I don't have to have that guy. I feel like Jared Wilson stands out like a sore thumb at the center position to me. Now, am I an evaluator, film evaluator? Maybe Gladstone and company feel completely different, but that's how I feel about him. Phenomenal athlete, good size, played against high-level competition, and I just don't like the options at center beyond that. And this again, like you said, maybe you have to do it late 2nd, but
would you do it at 36?
If Egbuka is gone, would I do it at... I mean, I want him more than Egbuka, but part of it is the value of where I can get him. I consider it at 36.
Okay.
I would consider it, but I would have to hear them express a plan that he is going to quickly be able to compete for a starting job. I don't know if that would be available. That's why I love him at pick 70, because I feel like there's less pressure when you're there. I know Pete Prisco put out his list of what he ranks as the best at every position. He had Jonah Monheim as the best center in the draft. PFF ranks Jonah Monheim 217th overall among all players and says he has the athleticism to succeed as a zone scheme center if he can get stronger. Well, I don't think that's our philosophy. I don't think that's what we're going to do. I think that Jared Wilson is going to get better and better. Young guy, not even 22 years old yet, number 1 guy on my list. And again, factoring in the value. I don't want to take him at 5. Don't get me wrong. I would consider him at 36. I would do cartwheels if I were able to do them at 70. Who you got at number 1, Dylan?
Jalen Noel, wide receiver, Iowa State, 5'10". He's fast. He can accelerate and separate from guys. More of a slot guy. Can play some outside if he needs to. Also can play special teams, punt return, and kick return. So he's only going to be available early 2nd round. I think.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he'll be there past 50.
Let me see where PFF's got Jalen Noel among wide receivers. And look, that's just their opinion, by the way. Nobody knows. They've got, for instance, they got Golden below Egbuka and Burden. Everyone thinks Golden's going off the board ahead of him because of that 40 time. They've got Elike Maynor at 35 overall. But let's see, Jaden Higgins up there, Besh up there. Boy, they've got him a little far down here, my man. Jalen Noel, 79th overall. So if you could, in your world, if you could get him at 70, you'd love that, right?
Yeah. I was looking at Chad Ryder's mock draft. He had them. Where do you have Jalen Noel? It was in the 30s. It was early second round.
Okay. Look, again, differing opinions on that, but he is your number one guy on your list. Tony Smith, who's number one for you?
Number one for me, wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. I already have the two players that I would be making the decision between at 5 on the list there at 2 and 3. I'd be happy with either one of those guys. If the draft plays out in such a way that the Jags wind up with Egbuka, whether that at 36 via a trade back into the bottom of the first round, nothing else would make me happier in the draft, I don't think, than the Jags getting Egbuka when everything is said and done. There are other receivers that I would be happy with, but landing him, given where they're going to be when they actually are in the wide receiver, I don't think Ted McMillan's going to be in play at 5 or Golden is going to be in play at 5. So I think at 36 is where the wide receiver dance begins for the Jags. And as I've said now for months, it is the highest priority position for them to address in the draft. And so I will put my favorite player among that position group as the guy that I would most like to see them land. Sure. And that's Emeka Egbuka.
ESPN did a thing, based on betting odds. They have a system, a model that predicts how likely guys are to go in certain ranges of the draft. And Egbuka is an exactly 50-50 split to go to the first round or make it to the second round. So coin flip as to whether now you got to make it to 36 or potentially you got to move up to lock him down.
It's hard, and I think this is partly because of what I think of him. It's hard for me to imagine him being there at 36.
I think so too.
But it makes it easy on the decision if he is.
I'll say that for me, my perfect draft, based on these 5 guys, the only chance I have to get 5 guys out of my list, I can't get Kenneth Grant and Egbuka. I can't do it, right, without moving around. Genty at 5, right? Take Egbuka at 36 if he's there. Jared Wilson at 70. Alfred Collins at 88. Kyle Kennard at 107. Don't know if they can pull that off, but and look, if it's not Kyle Kennard, he is like the prototype of the kind of edge rusher I'm looking for. There are other guys, but they're out of, let's say, 1 billion simulations. I bet those guys are available at all those picks in some of those simulations. Will they be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Probably not, right? But that would be just
fun.
Oh, my gosh, that would be an amazing
Like I'm looking at my list, too. Like, if they wound up going Genty, Egbuka, Wilson, Collins, I'd be... Whew.
Oh, my God. Right. If they got Genty and Egbuka, right? So you got 2 playmakers. What about big guys? All right, we got Jared Wilson and we got Alfred Collins in round 3. And then we take Kyle Kennard with the first pick of round 4. So I got my edge rusher, defensive tackle. I got a future starter on the offensive line. And I got 2 badass playmakers. Let's go win the AFC South, baby. I love it. All right, let's take a look at some of yours as we get into hour number 2. Your Tuesday top 5 Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. Who are the top 5 players you'd like to see the Jags land? We've given you ours. Who are yours? We'll explore. Tony will also take us around the league. A lot going on. Last minute scuttlebutt and rumors about what's going down in the NFL with the draft. What are we now? 57 hours away. I have that handy countdown right out of the corner of my eye. How often is Hacker counting down the draft at night?
He has not done it yet.
No.
But he can tell you how many days it's been since the Jaguar season ended.
Indeed. It's been 199,000 hours and whatever. All right. Hour 2 on the way. This is Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010 XL and 92.5 FM. It has begun.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Get more horsepower under the hood.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing drivers.
This Sunday at Talladega. NASCAR car is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Need fresh and flavorful lunch? Chicken Salad Chick has scratch-made Southern-style chicken salad in every bite. It's quick and delicious, so why wait? Come taste the best chicken salad today at Town Center, Durbin Park, or Butler Point at Chicken Salad Chick.
Get a healthy start in 2025. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to encourage you to get healthy and stay healthy this year. They have a dedicated team who are committed to providing quality care. The goal is to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Visit duval.floridahealth.gov to learn more about their health programs and services. That's duval.floridahealth.gov.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
I'm Max Fink, and I'm your Gator Updater. Listen for the Gator Report several times a week on 1010XL.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gator!
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Gun charges, drug charges. I'm attorney Malcolm Anthony, and I specialize in handling these types of felony cases. Stay out of trouble. But if you don't, call me at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
It's here. Beard's Diamonds' first ever massive sale on all diamond stud earrings and all tennis bracelets. Now through Sunday at 4 p.m. Save 20%, 30%, even 40%. Beautiful diamond stud earrings and gorgeous diamond tennis bracelets. Perfect for any occasion. Take advantage of huge markdowns. Best prices ever. Corporate-owned big box stores could never offer this extreme value, but locally owned Beards can. And it's happening now through Sunday. Up to 40% off. Beards Diamonds, St. John's Town Center. Shop local. Shop Beards.
I'm Liz Groovy, the Jacksonville Business Journal's events director, and on May 15th, we're shining a spotlight on young professionals who are boldly leading the way in business and making our major impact in our community. I'd love for you to join us for our 40 Under 40 Awards as we celebrate these up-and-comers and their achievements. Don't miss this inspiring afternoon of networking and celebration. Tickets are going fast. You have to get them before May 6th. And for more information and tickets, visit jbjevents.com.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Local Sports Update, brought to you by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. The JU Dolphins delivered a thrilling 6-5 walk-off victory over Bethune-Cookman at the John Sessions Stadium last night, earning their 6th straight win, rallying 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th. This marked the Dolphins' first walk-off win of the season. Next up for the Dolphins, they'll stay at home to host West Georgia in a 3-game weekend series starting on Friday. Baseball is back in Jax this week as the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp return home to the VyStar Ballpark to host the AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, the Gwinnett Stripers, in a 6-game series after splitting their last series with the Memphis Redbirds. First pitch will be here shortly at 11:05. The North Florida Ospreys baseball team travels to face South Carolina today after coming off their series road win against West Georgia. UNF's right-handed pitcher Tommy Groom will be starting on the mound for the Ospreys with first pitch at 6:30. It's 80 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, hour 2 is upon us, running out of those hours here on Jaguars Today. And before the NFL draft makes us forget about 90% of the players we've been discussing for the last 3 months until we play a team that they're on.
Yeah, I wonder if that'll be true because we have been doing the mock drafts. I'm not going to follow them necessarily wherever they go, but I think it'll be a lot of names that I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there'll be that. But in terms of what we're going to all of a sudden shift our focus to.
Not day to day.
Jaguars took Gunnar Helm. Damn it. We haven't been talking about it very much, or whomever that happens to be that they go with there. What's that guy, the Bejul? Who's that running back with all the speed? I can't think of his name. You get the idea. There's going to be definitely some surprise picks in there unless they just follow my game plan and just lay it all out. And then I don't care.
I won't be surprised, but I'll be delighted.
Bro, I would be shocked, okay? But if they ended up with Genti, Egbuka, Jared Wilson, Alfred Collins, Kyle Kennard, I don't care what they do with the other 5 picks. Honestly. I mean, whatever. You want to draft a bunch of corners and bring them in to compete, whatever.
Or whatever
Safety.
They had to spend to make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That doesn't, I mean, realistically, if you get 5 guys that are building blocks out of this draft, second contract guys, that's going to be pretty good, especially if they come with those first 5 selections. And then when you're still, after those first 5 selections, going to have another 4th-round pick. By the way, I was looking at I was wrong. I was off before. I was looking at the cost to move up to 7 for the Bears, but it's still like you're going to have to give us. You're not going to get 10 and 41. It doesn't look like, according to the chart from Chicago, if they want to come up for Genti. I was just asking Dylan. You had stepped out of the room, Tony. Would you rather have Travis Hunter or Ashton Genti and pick 36?
I think I'd rather have Hunter.
I think I'd rather have the combo.
Yeah.
Platter. By the way, according to the chart, again, you're never going to get to 2 to get Hunter with that. The chart tells you. Now, again, older chart, there are newer models. I don't know what the Jags go by. I don't know what the league standard is, honestly, anymore. But the equivalent of the number 2 pick according to the old chart, is the 5th pick and the 18th pick. Well, obviously that's a problem. We don't own the 18th pick.
Correct.
Right? So to make up the difference, you'd actually have to give 36, 70, and 88, and you'd get like a late kicker back.
Mhm.
So you'd get Travis Hunter and a 5th or 6th round pick, and you'd give up your top 4 picks in the draft.
Yeah, and that's in light of the Schrager saying that 2 and 3 are at least getting calls.
Right. Of course they're getting calls.
Yeah.
See what the price is. Now that they're this close, see
Because
what...
we've had the discussions about if we had it when we did the top 5s. Like trading up to 4 to
Trade
make
up
sure
to
you
4
get
is doable. 4th round pick is what the chart tells you.
Absolutely. But if it's 2 or 3, especially 2 more than 3, but 2 is basically no-go. 3 is still going to be so prohibitive, the cost.
107 is worth 80 points, okay, according to the chart. And you need to make up 100. So you'd have to throw in maybe a 6th rounder on top of that. So 107 and a 6th rounder to move up to get Travis Hunter? Yeah. Of course, the Giants would have to pass him as well, in addition to Cleveland. And New England would have to go, oh, wait a minute. We can't use this guy for our young quarterback here, this playmaker, which is why, again, Chad Ryder put Ashton Genty going to the Patriots, because you've got a young quarterback. What's the best way to protect him? Yes, actual protection, physical offensive line protection, but also slowing down the pass rush with an effective running game.
Yeah. And none of those offensive linemen are anywhere near the prospect that Genty is. They're just not.
That's not seem to be graded by most. I have yet to see a final big board that has Will Campbell or Membo or any of those guys ahead of Genty. Now, I say that. Chris Trapasso, of course, he also had James Pierce at number 1 overall. So anyone that isn't just, out there on its own.
Not saying it's impossible if somebody does.
Maybe all that matters is the Gladstone Cohen Baselli board.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the Cleveland Farrell thing happens.
Absolutely.
That's how the Raiders felt about him.
Mike Mayock was not a good general manager. Which
Turned out
reminds
to
you.
be. Yeah.
Reminds you
that Tom Brady's a miserable owner.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be. All right, why don't you catch us up on what's going on around the rest of the NFL?
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Indianapolis GM Chris Ballard said during the Colts pre-draft media session yesterday that linebacker Jalen Charles has had shoulder surgery this offseason, but is expected to be ready for training camp. LA Rams offensive tackle Rob Havenstein has also had to have a couple of cleanup procedures done on his shoulder, is expected to be limited during the Rams offseason program, but be ready for training camp. Minnesota head coach Kevin O'Connell said yesterday that quarterback J.J. McCarthy has no limitations as the Vikings' voluntary offseason program gets underway this week. And Philadelphia wide receiver A.J. Brown had his car stolen yesterday morning. The police have found the car in Camden, New Jersey. They do have a suspect in custody. A.J. had his own words to say on social media.
I get it. People are down on Florio, but he had a good point. Like, A.J. Brown said, hey, you either bring it back and I won't press charges or beat your A, or suffer the consequences because I'm
going
going to
another way.
Well, if you know how to find it, why do you need him? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But he got it back.
He got it back. So who knows? Maybe the threat actually.
Would the average person's car stolen? I don't know if he was in. Was he in Philly when the car was stolen? I
don't know.
Yeah, because they had some kind of practice. He was working out.
Okay, so is the average stolen car in Philly found the same day, or did they give A.J. Brown a little bit of a boost in their investigative efforts? I'm going to guess the latter, but that's
probably.
That's just me. Dylan, you had the betting odds. So Genty is the favorite to go at 5 at this point?
Number 5 overall.
Is he also the favorite to go number 6 overall? Can you find that for us?
1 second.
Because I'm looking at this thing. I mentioned ESPN did a thing with the odds of players likely to make it to a certain point. And one of the headers in there is, if the Bears want Ashton Genty, can they land him without trading up? The short answer, it's not very likely. If I'm reading this correctly, Genty has a 91% chance to make it to pick 5. But to be available after pick 6, there's only a 57% chance. That seems high to me. If he's the favorite to go at 5 or 6, particularly with all the locked in to the Raiders talk at 6. Put the Jags out of it. If he's the favorite to go there, I guess that doesn't mean he's more than 50% likely. He's just the most likely out of any one individual player. But it seems like if he's the betting favorite to go 5, the betting favorite to go 6, Tone, how's there a 57% chance that he's available at pick 7 or later?
I don't know.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So, number 5, this is a sports book. This is not Hard Rock.
Okay.
Plus 100 to be the 5th pick. The 6th pick minus 120. So he's clear-cut favorite.
He's like, you got to bet 120 to get 100 back.
Correct.
So he's more than even money odds to go. Which, again, if that's the case, now maybe, these things are happening almost in real time, right? I mean, these odds are changing, and I'm not sure exactly when this article was posted at ESPN, but if he is more likely than not, that's what it's telling you, right? That he's more likely than not. So that means he's at least 51% to go to the Raiders if he makes it there. How is he 57% likelihood to be available at 7? I don't think he is. I don't know where that number comes from. Yes.
Also, teams to draft Ashton Jeanty, Raiders and Jaguars, both plus 120.
Okay.
So
if you bet the combo, you're saying.
Yeah, so you can bet either like what overall pick he's going to be. So, for example, if you think the Raiders are going to trade up to 5, he's still at number 5 overall pick. So you can still win either way.
But the number 5 pick is plus 100,
Correct.
right? And so what are you saying plus 120 equals? To go either 5 or 6?
No. Plus 120 to be selected by the Raiders or the Jags. It's the same.
Okay. That's interesting. But he's plus 100
to be the number 5
to be the number 5 pick because it might not be one of those teams
Correct.
exercising.
Yeah, the Bears might trade up or the Cowboys. Who knows?
All this, we haven't had a single pre-draft trade in terms of the first round this year.
First time in like a decade.
First time. I think it's the first time ever it's been this late in the process.
Since Montana was with the Chiefs.
Right.
Isn't that what Schefter said?
Right, but that even happened I want to say 4 days before the draft. So I think we're in uncharted territory here in the modern draft era. Now, that doesn't mean everyone's going to end up with their own first-round pick, but we're all talking about all these crazy options and permutations. And look at the way I can stack my Jaguar fantasy draft, Tony. If I run enough simulations on Madden Dynasty mode, I can come up with this, if that's such a thing. And it'll more likely be Mason Graham and eat your vegetables and a corner at 36 or something like that, which, hey, in the end, if that's the way they go, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise. We had enough of a track record to question Trent Baalke after a certain point, here we go again. Are you sure this is the right way? Even though I was kind of excited about the prospect of Mason Smith last year in the second round, and I still am, is he going to be a complete wash? I mean, if you take Mason Graham, I guess you could suppose that you could envision a year or so down the line, it's the two Masons in the middle for the Jaguars. But I don't know. I'd feel better with that. I feel like they're both better as that penetrating 3-technique type guy. We will see what the Jaguars think about it. We'll delve into some of your top 5s when we return. That's your Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. We've gotten down to 2 days out from the NFL draft. Media mock draft tomorrow, and Thursday is draft day, so it's your last chance to tell us exactly who you want on your wish list, your 5 players you'd love to see end up with the Jags. Don't have to be at the 5th pick. The 36 can be anywhere throughout the draft. That's the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
We're looking for a bag man. You want the job?
Rick Ballou.
Yeah. Okay, you got it.
He studied criminology at Florida State, but now sports are his bag.
What's in the bag, man?
Ballou.
Drop the bag.
Evenings on 1010XL. Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Leon Cersei here. Let's be real. I used to eat like a lineman because I was one. And man, those habits are hard to break. I needed help to stop with the munchies and lose weight. But now, I'm bringing sexy back. I call Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their medical team is helping me shed pounds safely with a custom plan to help me slim down. And their firm pricing means same price every month. Hey, you want to bring sexy back? Visit Physician Guided Weight Loss at pgweightloss.com.
Attention Florida homeowners, for 1 month only. Save big with Renewal by Anderson. Get $300 off every window and $825 off all patio doors. Plus, call now and ask about our brand new Ensemble entry door system. But hurry, this limited time offer won't last. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com today to schedule your free design consultation. That's bestwindowsflorida.com. Renewal by Anderson, your trusted window and door experts. Superior products, exceptional service. License number CGC 1527613.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
It's about the hunt.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Lagerman. We take you from the water to the woods.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Let's go to the woods, y'all.
Saturday mornings from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hair4me.com.
Take your taste buds to One Night Taco Stand for Taco Tuesday. Get $2.99 tacos and $6.99 specialty drinks. The 1010XL restaurant of the day is One Night Taco Stand, Mandarin, Orange Park, and Southside at Bay Meadows.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts and 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Mr. Denmark, Mike Duraco, joining us on Wednesday and Thursday this week,
Correct.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Making the pick for the Jags tomorrow. And then he's going to join us on Thursday as well as part of our radio roundtable. We'll go rapid fire through a lot of our favorite guests here. What can you tell me about Mike Duraco's current work product?
Just sent out an article with the headline, Why Picking Running Back Ashton Jeanty at number 5 would make sense for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh!
So
is D-Rock going to do it tomorrow? Is he going to do it? He put that out. Yeah, he put that out this morning. Why Ashton Jeanty would make sense for the Jaguars. He makes sense for a lot of teams. Somebody on the text line saying he makes sense for every team picking ahead of us. To some degree, he does. You know, I'm glad that there's at least one quarterback that Tennessee likes. Go ahead and bring Cam Ward to the division. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, look, they're going to have somebody who upgrades over Will Levis at some point. I'd rather have Cam Ward in the division than Travis Hunter.
Sure.
In the division. So,
it's made me chuckle because we do have ESPN on here in the station.
Yes.
And they're going through and they have like key departures and all these different things. They're showing all the teams in the draft. They're doing it in draft order.
Miles Sanders is a key departure.
Apparently. Well, they had Mac Jones as a key departure for the Jaguars.
Oh, dear.
When they had it up there a moment ago. But every time that the Giants come up and they put the team needs up there, it makes me laugh a little bit because it does feel like they're pretty locked in at this point to likely being Abdul Carter. Like that feels like that's where it's going to wind up being.
What do they put the needs
Well,
of?
Nothing about edge, defensive end, nothing like that is in their top 4 needs that they listed. Quarterback was listed number 1 for the Giants, which would make sense, but it does make me laugh. It's like, I even with that being said, I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't the Giants take Carter? Right? Like, even with that being said, I'm like, why wouldn't they take him?
Well, that's supposed to be the feeling, is that he is just such a good prospect that he's clear-cut top 2 along with Hunter, and that you have to take him.
Right. Like, it's that kind of thing. I get it. Like, their team needs may not exactly match Abdul Carter. That doesn't marry perfectly, but that doesn't matter. Right? You're picking 3rd in a draft with not a lot of great players being talked about in that kind of class, so you take the one that's available to you at that point, unless you want to go Jeanty, which I've heard whispers of the Giants being involved in that kind of thing, but nothing.
I mean, it'd almost be like mea culpa. Yeah, we realize we screwed up, right? And we shouldn't have let Saquon go.
And if you're the Patriots, like that would change. If Carter was there, it'd be like, oh, yeah, right? Like you just kind of go.
Yeah, I heard Colin Cowherd say, well, the Eagles have it figured out. You pay running back and you draft defense. Stop. Everyone is such a prisoner of the moment. When did the Eagles figure that out, by the way?
Because they just won the Super Bowl.
Right, and because Saquon became available, you pay running back. They've gone running back by committee, basically, for years in Philadelphia, and have been one of the best teams in the National Football League.
Yeah.
So
they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago without Saquon.
You pick defense if the defensive players are the best players.
Yeah.
What was it last year, Tony? We didn't see a defensive player taken to like 14 or something like that?
Yep.
Should we have taken defense? You know, because that's what you do. Good teams. We could have had Dallas Turner, Tony.
Yeah.
How are you going to pass on Dallas Turner? I know somebody on the station said, I guarantee you, Dallas Turner's there. Jags are going to take it. Well, I remember that very clearly. And I'm glad that they didn't
turn out that way.
They took a superior talent and got paid off 3 additional picks to do it. All right. One of the picks the Jags spent last year, of course, was on Jarian Jones, cornerback out of Florida State. Will be transitioning, it appears, to outside corner, much to his own delight. And Mia O'Brien and Lauren Brooks were able to sit down with Jarian in our podcast studio yesterday. You'll hear a few of those thoughts. I want to remind you, Jamal St. Cyr at Channel 4 did a sit-down piece with him that's going to air on Thursday. Jamal's going to join us on Thursday as well on that. You could check out the Mia and Lauren pod with Jarian Jones, available on any of our 1010XL channels out there. But just to go back to the comment that stood out last week, or what do the Jags think about Jarian Jones and how they plan on using him as they signed Jordan Lewis as their first free agent signing of this regime and made him, at the time, the highest paid nickel cornerback in the National Football League. Pretty clear what his role is going to be on this football team. And this is going back to last week with Jamal St. Cyr asking Jarian about playing outside and how this all came about.
Last season when I was playing all 100% nickel, I was asking them, can I go play corner? That's what I play. You know what I'm saying? Obviously I play nickel, but I play, I guard people. That's what I do. I play corner. I guard people. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know what all went into it, but just last thing they wouldn't let me do it. So, so the coach staff letting me be able to go do that, that's something when I first met with Coach Camp, when I first met with Liam, that's something I asked them, can I please go play corner? And they was like, well, actually, that's what we were thinking. And I was like, okay, well, we all in cahoots together.
It's the same building, but it does feel different, right? With everything that they're doing inside.
Just a little more open. Why is this guy doing this? Or who's calling plays?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
What?
We got a pretty clear idea.
Right. But if you think it's the best way to set it up, why are you afraid to tell us? Mm-hmm. Why are you keeping that back?
We said it when he wouldn't say it the first time. We're like, just say it.
Right.
What's the harm in just saying it?
If you said me, everyone would be like, all right, good.
Yeah.
That's the right. So, and if you think Press was the right guy to call plays, then say it with your chest.
And if you had said it the first time, we wouldn't ask you again who's calling plays. It would just be, we'd ask you questions about the plays that were called specifically.
Correct.
Right? It wouldn't be who's doing it.
It was this lingering issue for no particularly good reason.
Which feels emblematic of what happened here the last couple of years. But Mia and Lauren did have the chance to sit down with Jarian Jones yesterday, and they did talking about how much has changed with all the new in the building and the mindset that they have established here in the first few weeks that they've been here.
I think you just said that everyone's hungry, and I think that when Lim first got, when we had our first meeting, he came in and he told everyone, he was like, yeah, everyone has everything to say. First-time head coach, first-time coordinators. Hey, but guess what? I'm hungry. I'm hungry to show everyone why it should have been me. And when he said that, I was like, I can ride with that. I'm with that. I'm on your team. I can ride with that. You know what I'm saying? So just the way that he is every day, he tells us every day, I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all for coming. I appreciate y'all for working hard. That's a coach, I honestly feel like I run through a wall for. You know what I'm saying? So he just makes it easy to want to be, you know what I'm saying, to want to be right, to want to be great, to, you know what I'm saying, just wanting to pay attention to details.
Jarian's buying it, and he's also, he's getting his name out there in the last couple weeks as if a reminder, hey, we're good. We're good on the outside. We don't need another. Yeah. We don't need Trey Amos at 36, Tony. We got Jarian Jones to handle that. What was missing with this team last season, Jarian?
My personal opinion, I feel like what was missing was the camaraderie of it all. As far as it being obviously your players are close, but I wanted to be close to the coaches. I want to be close to everybody in the building. We all on the same team. We all together. Whether it be staff, whether it be coaching staff, whether it be players, help everyone. I feel like we all play a role in this. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we all should be close.
Right.
I want to know everything about you. And so that way, in turn, I'll go that much harder for you because I know, you know what I'm saying, where you came from.
Yeah, I don't think you have to know everything about everybody, but I prefer it to be that way.
Well, and I think, we've played and we played it again a moment ago, that clip with Jamal last week, and the full interview will be coming out later with him. And him going to the team, it felt like that wasn't a one-time thing where he went and said, hey, can I play outside? I want to play outside. I don't just want to be here. And it doesn't feel like he ever got a clear answer for why the answer was no. Right? And I do think that answer right there speaks to what you're talking about. We're all a team, right? It should all feel like we're going in the same direction. I'm asking a pretty clear question. I'm saying, hey, I can play outside. Why don't you let me play outside? And they just say no, right? And it does, if you're someone that's pushing towards, hey, home team,
Right.
Right? And they're not giving you clear answers on why they're not letting you do something that you feel like you can do. Just tell him. Right? Whatever the honest answer is in your opinion, just tell him we don't want to do it right now because X.
Right. Or you're more valuable where you are at the moment. We
love you where you're at. This is where we need you right now. Like, let that be it. But then it does feel like he's kind of just hanging out there. One more here from me and Lauren having the chance to sit down with him, and I think we're all interested in this. Every day at practice, he gets the chance to go up against Brian Thomas Jr., and he was asked, what exactly are those sparring sessions like?
Practicing against him, like, he is exactly, you know what I'm saying, who he is. Like, I ain't never seen nothing like it. Like, he's big, he's fast, he can jump, got crazy ball skills, like, he's smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not just out there just doing stuff. Like, he knows what he's doing. And it's just seeing that every day. That's big, so.
He is him, as they also say, around many parts. And protect Brian Thomas Jr. at all costs, Jaguar Nation. So, again, Mia and Lauren with Jarian Jones podcast available now on all the 1010XL social channels. Go check that out today. And I think they did that after the show, so I'm sure they'll have more from Jarian and more thoughts about their conversation with him coming up on the program today. All right, we'll take our final break, Tony. Let's come back and rip through some of these top 5 lists. Some very interesting players have been named, and we always appreciate when you take the time to put together a list like that. I know it's a little bit of a homework assignment, but we're asking you for your top 5 players that you hope end up as Jacksonville Jaguars at any point throughout the draft. We'll get into that coming up next as we put a bow on this one. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know what? No matter what the Jags do in the draft, you can celebrate because you got to eat, right? You can celebrate with some delicious food from Dandy, or you can commiserate with some delicious food from Dandy. It doesn't really matter. Dandy is a local company. Dandy Sandwiches and Subs. The Anytime Deli line is an offshoot of them as well. You'll see them in area gate stations. Head to the fresh case and note that they were made right here in Jacksonville. The Thompson family started Dandy about 70 years ago, and they use as many locally sourced ingredients, only the highest quality though, and that provides tremendous variety in the food offerings that they have. Breakfast items, sandwiches, subs, protein packs, gourmet salads, fruit cups, veggie trays, light lunchtime wraps, little something for anybody. Just be amazed. Go to gate, walk in, head to the fresh case. You're going to see over 30 different varieties from Dandy, like the meatball subs, the boom boom steak subs, and on and on. When you're hungry in Duval, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy. Do it today.
A symphony of sweat, grit, and glory. Dive into the action and live the moments. For play-by-play, it's 1010XL. Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Direct from Broadway, MJ, the Tony Award-winning musical, is starting something all across America. Get tickets now to what the Washington Post calls a runaway hit. MJ the Musical, playing Jacksonville Center for the Performing Arts, April 22nd through 27th. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Denny Thompson here. You gotta check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent accidents and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 3:20 for the latest in sports injuries. From all the big names in the game, who's MIA, who's coming back from injury. Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 3:20.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. When you've been charged with a crime, you don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW. in the 904.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Learn the secrets to bring your A game on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour.
Yeah, well, you really crushed that ball off the tee, I'll tell you what.
Learn the latest on new equipment from all the major manufacturers on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL. 1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, Tony, actual Jaguar news we haven't remarked on. Cole Van Lanen did sign his tender. There said to be some interest. Was it San Francisco? Somebody was maybe interested, but never got an offer. The Jags would have picked up an additional 6th-round pick if he had signed somewhere else. So he signed his 1-year tender. Cole Van Lanen probably going to make more this year than he's made in his NFL career, $3.4 million. But you start to look at this depth chart. That's another guy that you feel like, okay, he's got to be a swing tackle. You can live with that. And they signed Chuma Edoga and Fred Johnson, who can handle that as well. I think some of these guys have multiple positional versatility. We're running out of spots for offensive linemen on this roster. If you presume that right now the projected starting 5 are on the team, Johnson, Edoga, and Cole Van Lanen, that's 8 right there. And maybe you look at Edoga as being able to back up guard and tackle. Not sure, but only a couple of other spots, So if you're drafting offensive line, you better have a plan. It's why I didn't put a Will Campbell or an Armand Membo in my top 5 wish list, because in my mind, they may feel like they're okay with the offensive line. I almost went with Anthony Belton as one of my guys in like the 4th round, but he's a little bit older at like 24 years old. I don't know. But anyway, Cole Van Lanen's back. So whether it's high-quality depth, time will tell, but they've got a lot of depth at the tackle position right now, which makes you wonder if they just feel like, we've got enough options. We're going to let them all battle it out, and may the best two emerge out of this. And it's not as big a priority for them going into the draft, having signed not only that, but 2 interior starters.
Yeah, I look at it in a very similar way that I do corner. It's not that I wouldn't draft one. It's player and price, right? There are going to be players that they fit at the right time for you to draft them, but there's no pressure to do it. Like, there's no rush to draft another corner to play outside. It's okay if you find one. I'm in favor of them finding another one to add to that room. I'm in favor of them if they want to improve the offensive line at tackle, guard, center, wherever. I'm in favor of them adding another body to that room, but I don't think there's any rush to make it happen. Does it fall at the right price for them to do it? I'm in favor of it then. I'm not in favor of going ahead of it. And before free agency started, I would have been. If they hadn't done what they did in free agency and added all the bodies that they did to the room, where they can get right guard, center, they have bodies that are in the room now. If they didn't have any of that going on, then I'd be really wanting Will Campbell to be the pick because he might wind up a guard. Like, that would be the way that I'd be looking at it. He's going to wind up as a guard. That's where he's going to start.
And a tackle in the future.
Right, like that guy. I'd be very much, and that would be who I'd be pushing at 5, but they don't have to do that now.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
How about this, before we get to these top 5s? Just a player just kind of popped in my mind like, here's a veteran who's said to possibly be on the trading block. Now, here's the thing. The Jags aren't signing many finishing pieces, but
no,
I feel like Mark Andrews would be just such a good fit. And now you'd only have him for a year on the current contract that he's on. You talk about a guy who can be physical in the run game. I mean, look, Baltimore loves to run the football. He's been excellent in that regard. And, yeah, you can look at that drop 2-point conversion and say, why would we want that guy? Because he makes a lot of plays, generally.
It's not the only play he's been on the field for in his career.
And, I don't think there are too many of those full two-way guys like Ty Warren in this draft. I think there are a lot of pass-catching specialist tight ends coming out. And
there were a lot of Giants fans that were laughing at the Jaguars when they signed Ingram. Why would you want him? He stinks. He drops the ball. Like, all those.
Right.
Well, turns out he didn't. Right? Like, he was way better for Jacksonville than he was with the New York Giants. Judging Mark Andrews on one play in a playoff game, that's...
The question is, what would the price be?
Yeah.
He's I would imagine in that locker room, a beloved Raven, right? He's been there forever.
Yeah.
And but they would save like $11 million in cap space for moving on from him. I don't know how important that is to the Ravens at this point in time, but I mean, I'm only talking about a late pick here, or a 2026 pick, because they've shown they didn't want to sign a veteran edge that would keep one of their young guys from getting on the field.
Right.
So I doubt they want to go that route, but I think if you get through the draft and it just doesn't fall to where you're through round 5 and you don't have a tight end that really fit the model that you're looking for, and you want a little bit more oomph in the pass catching department, I don't know. He's a name that it would interest me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the price would have to be right for him. But I think, in terms of a short term, right now, I'd trust him over any other receiver not named Brian Thomas Jr. on this team to be a productive player if he got in rhythm with Trevor Lawrence. Anyway, probably nothing like that going to go down, particularly being on the veteran side of things. All right, let's see. Here we go, Tony. Top 5 players that you want on the Jacksonville Jaguars. We gave you hours earlier. You can go back and listen to that. I don't know if we'll post that up a little bit later on, but let's see what we've got here submitted. I had a lot of them in here. All right. Cristiano. Did them 1 through 5. We'll go 1 through 5. Damian Martinez, Miami running back at 1. Jack Besh, receiver at 2. Kenneth Grant at 3. Kobe Bryant, the corner at 4. Luke Lachey, the tight end, at number 5. Code Blue just lists Travis Hunter, Derek Harmon, another one for Kobe Bryant, Troy Horton, who's an interesting wide receiver prospect, I think, and Lathan Ransom, who just missed my list today. Canadian Jag, Jaden Higgins, number 1, Genty 2, Grant 3, Ozzie Trapillo, the offensive lineman from Boston College, and Savion Williams, your top 5 there. Mason Graham for Trevorville, Emeka Egbuka, Jaden Higgins, Kyle Kennard, Cam Scatabo, got a couple of my guys on there as well. Nolan said Kenneth Grant, Genty, Tate Ratledge, Josh Simmons, the Ohio State offensive tackle, and Andrew Makuba, who We had that one report the Jags were interested in him a while ago, and it does seem like, I don't know if people are just making the fit connection or are relying on that. I see him mocked to the Jags a lot, like with the 70th pick. He's a little bit small. Anyway, I do think they have a need at safety, but I also feel like they have enough options that if they had to wait, if there was one position they had to punt on that I feel like they've got a need for, that might be the one I go with anyway, you know. Chris said Genty, Tyleek Williams, the Ohio State defensive tackle, Ashton Gillette. We were joking earlier. You talk about a draft where crazy names may be called in the first round that you're not expecting. The Jacksonville Jaguars turn in the card and they select Ashton, and we're going crazy. Is it Genty? Not Gillette? What? Stop. We get the wrong Ashton. But he wants them both. He wants Genty and Gillette. And Jared Wilson, smart man there, Chris, because we also like some Jared Wilson. Joshua went Jahdae Barron at corner. Going to have to take him with your first pick. All right. Kyle Kennard at edge. I love him. Tate Ratledge at guard. A.J. Cornelius at offensive tackle. And Makuba at safety. A lot of different guys. Nick, going more with later guys here. Cam Scatabo at running back. J.J. Pegues, the defensive tackle. I used to mock him to the Jags all the time. Wonder where he's going to go. I haven't seen like any buzz that he's moved up draft boards. Again, you talk about defensive tackles that could help you right now that could be available in the second half of the draft, and that's one of those guys. Willie Lampkin, man. I love the story. I can't get behind a 275-pound guard unless it's like at pick 221. What are we going to do with that? You know, another lineman on goal line packages? We got all these other linemen. Let a lineman play lineman or a bigger one play lineman. Jonah Savanea and JT Tumaloa. I think I said that right, actually. I could be wrong. Terrence went with Genty, Egbuka. We both like those guys. Edge, Fadil Diggs out of Syracuse. Guard Jackson Slater. And offensive lineman Anthony Belton. Belton's just like a mauling bruiser. Needs some refinement. But interesting player if they don't go O-line before the fourth round. Bush Drive Rich, Hunter or Genty at the top to get a playmaker. Jalen Walker would be his next option, another playmaker. Pat Bryant, he said tangibly rich. Well, I hope so, but I think he meant intangibly rich is my guess on this. Xavier Watt, Notre Dame safety, and Yaya Black. I don't know much about him, but 6'6", 337. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. Let's put it that way. A lot of Genty love out there. By the way, yesterday's poll, Genty won that with a little over 50%. I think we got up to 500 votes on that one as a few more trickled in this morning because I gave it a quick retweet. We asked you yesterday that who is the player you most want the Jaguars to take, assuming Hunter and Carter are not available. Genty got 50.4% of the love. Mason Graham got 27%. Best O lineman got 18%. And anything else drew less than 5% of the vote right now. Do you think what's the percentage likelihood? Do you think that's about right? 95% likely that it's going to be a Graham, O-line, or Genty selection at 5?
Yes.
I don't think it's that high. I think Jalen Walker could factor in.
But that's because that's how confident I am in the two. Outside of the offensive line, like in my head, I think it might be 90% those two guys.
Did I tell you, I was telling Dylan, I saw somebody say that Jalen Walker is Roquan Smith with more pass rush. Now, wait a minute. Now, like this is like the first I've heard him described at that level. Like, forget the pass rush aspect. You're saying just as an off-ball linebacker, he's Roquan Smith level, would he go 8th in the draft?
He did.
And I said, I wouldn't take Roquan Smith 5th. But if he is Roquan Smith and on third down, he turns into Unique Ngakoue, then yeah, I'd be interested in him at that spot. And Dylan was telling me, Georgia, Kirby Smart said that, guys, point guard in high school,
tight end,
freakish athlete, right? Can do anything. Everybody raves about his character. Total team guy, total hard worker, super clean prospect. Just is there enough value there? I wonder, like, if New England were to take him, as I saw suggested by somebody, Tony Pauline, saying that there's some buzz out there.
Mm-hmm.
Does he play? What does he play? Is he a full-time defensive end, edge rusher? I don't know. Is he big enough to do that?
I think he's a full-time player that stands up when you want him to stand up and puts his hand on the ground and plays edge when you want him to. That's the intrigue of Jalen Walker, is he can do both of those things. It's what was he asked to do at Georgia? I don't know. But we got one of those guys here in town right now in Trayvon Walker.
Right.
Like, what was he asked to do at Georgia? A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, right? But that brings up the thing.
But he wasn't one thing.
Are you just good at a lot of things, or are you a master of any of these things? You know what I mean? Like,
hard to know.
Project guys, if that's the way you consider him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm looking at a couple of player comps, by the way, on Jalen Walker. I see Kyle Van Noy in one, and I saw Nolan Smith in another.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan Smith, a higher draft. I mean, Van Noy's just been a really, really good player. We could have signed Van Noy for the last 3 years, I think, to a 1-year deal if we wanted to, right around draft time.
It is one of these things, again, I come back to, that's this draft. After you get past the top 2 or 3 guys, that's this draft.
Yeah.
Those are the player comps that you're going to get. It's not going to be a whole lot of, there's a 5-time Pro Bowler that they're comparing these guys to. It's just not how this draft class is set up.
All right. That'll wrap it up for us today. Media mock draft coming up tomorrow, and we'll handle the first 16, helmets and heels, the back half. So let's say hello.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
All that buzz. Is there true buzz, Taylor Dahl, about Ashton Genty, or do you think it's all boredom and we're all just making things up to entertain ourselves?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've heard people say each side. Like, this is all just smokescreen, and then I've heard other be like, no, it makes a lot of sense.
But who is putting out a smokescreen?
That's what
right?
I don't know.
Like,
and that's
smokescreen is something you do to obscure your own interest.
Yeah.
They're just keeping their mouth shut.
And that's what I don't think it's a game, because I think that we've seen, obviously, James Gladstone and company be very quiet this whole process the last couple months in terms of obviously not having the top 30 visits and all of those type of things. So I don't think they're out there just stirring up stuff just to do it all of a sudden. And and that's who would be putting smoke
Unless what you're trying to do is to get somebody to jump you, take Genty, and then push the player you truly desire. Like, especially if you want an offensive line.
Yeah.
And you think someone is likely to jump up to 4 and you get your choice of the lineman.
And how far do you go, though? Like, how far are you willing
Depends
to
on
go?
Who's jumping up. What if it's what if the Raiders decide we're going to jump up and you don't move? I'm talking about, like, in that case, you're not even moving. You're not even falling back. You're just sitting there hoping that somebody else moves ahead of you to take Genty because he really wasn't your target all along. And maybe it's Will Campbell and you think, the Patriots are likely to take him, but if we let it be known that we're going to take Genty.
If people are worried, Jags truly are thinking that, and they're like, oh, man, we got to get up to 4 for it to happen. And that how interested are the Patriots in doing that? And that's what we're going to get to that. We're finishing up our series today, and we're talking to Mike Giardi from the Boston Journal about kind of what the Patriots' mindset is, because I do think 1, 2, 3 feels like it's pretty confident we know which way those 3 are going, which could be totally wrong also. But at this point, I think most people feel like Ward, Travis Hunter, Carter. And then 4, it's a lot of question marks. I feel like right at 4, you start saying, are they going to trade back? Do they want Ashton Genty? Do they want Will Campbell? Are they going to shock everybody?
Tony Pauline said edge is what he's hearing from New England. Jalen Walker. Being big.
Yeah, and I heard you guys just chatting about that. I talked with Mike Griffith, and he said he thinks he's like a true rush end in the NFL.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Is he 250? I mean, can you be a
That's what I don't know.
Rush end at
because obviously he played everywhere, and I talked to him. I was like, it reminds me of the Trayvon Walker situation where it's like, hey, he did all of these things, and I was like, that's cool. Can he do something really, really good?
I heard somebody describe him as Roquan Smith with more pass rush. Like, if you're, because I've heard, well, he can play stand-up linebacker for you. I've never heard anyone say he can be the best linebacker in the league and be your third pass rusher. Oh, by the way, in that case,
then New England.
Then let's go, right? New England will be bummed if New England takes him at 4.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
all right, what's coming up today?
Yeah, so we're going to chat with Mike Giardi, kind of get the mindset of what they feel like the Patriots are doing. It's all kind of crazy right now. We're going to do that. Also, Mia and Lauren talked to Jarian Jones yesterday, so we're going to play that interview. It's a two-parter because it was a little bit long, but him talking about playing outside and that conversation with James Gladstone and Coach Camp and how they feel like that's kind of where they want him. So he goes into that. He goes into some of the issues last year and what was working and what wasn't. A lot of what wasn't working. So, yeah, we'll have that on. So, and then a lot of draft talk, too, getting ready for tomorrow.
Are you prepared as the general manager of the Chicago Bears to make the first ever media mock draft trade up and give Mike DeRocco the 41st pick in the draft? Can we have 10 and 41 right now? I'll put DeRocco on the clock at 10 right now, if that's the case. You guys work on that.
We'll do an exception this year, so I can just trade up.
You trade up, right? Well, it makes sense because we're in-house.
Yeah,
D-Rock's our guy. You're our person. And
let's go.
We make the switch. It's the one people are talking about right now. But we got to get 41 out.
Yeah, I'll text Mike tonight. We'll see what we can do.
Well, that's up to you. I think we'll probably stick with our time-tested format. Have a great show.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. Taylor Dahl and the crew of Helmets and Heels coming up next. Tony, media mock draft, year 20-something, I think, tomorrow.
Year a lot.
Year a bunch. Year 2 decades worth of doing this bad boy. We'll be on the clock. Titans will be on the clock as soon as we come on the air. Like making our first pick right at 10 o'clock is the goal. So we're going to get this thing rolling. We'll knock out 16 picks from 10 to noon, and Helmets and Heels will handle the others with correspondents representing every team weighing in on their selections. Until then, thanks for listening to Jaguars Today. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Stick around for Helmets and